when we look into this thing, how Islam tells us to organize humanity, we see Islam Islam looks Islam looks towards humans as humans. Islam, when it comes to the problems of humans, it encounters the problems of humans as a human problem. It does not see it as a problem of particular race or a particular gender or anything. Islam came as a mercy to the entire mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have not sent you, O Muhammad, but as a mercy for all creatures. Secondly, Islam does not discriminate people. It does not discriminate people. Excuse me, brother. It does not make people believe that they are superior just because they happen to be born at a certain geographical location or in a certain race. No, because we know from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in his last sermon, all mankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab. Also, a white has no superiority over a black, nor a black has any superiority over white except by piety and good actions. Thirdly, Islam brings people together for the elevation of humanity. Let us look into the ayah that I started my talk with. If we say that ayah again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. O mankind, we created you from a single pair of a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes that you may know each other. Verily, the most honored of you in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is he who is the most righteous of you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has full knowledge and is well acquainted with all things. Now this ayah tells us, in fact, we celebrate this because of this ayah, we celebrate the differences that we have. It kills the idea of xenophobia in the minds of the Muslims. We do not hate foreign someone from other race or someone from other culture just for the sake of it. We understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us differently, and we um, we see them as good things which can be used for betterment of everyone, which means if if we understand that people of certain place lack certain thing, then the people of other place have that ability, um, they can fulfill what they lack. Hence this way, inshallah, I mean, Islam tells us that we move forward as humans, we take care of each other, right? And here also we understand that these differences, the difference in the colors, geographical locations, are made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and these things are not a threat. So hence the nation of the notion of a nation state tells us that these things are a threat. You should be aware of the foreigners. Treat them as a second class in your country. Treat them as if they have come to your country. You're doing a great favor to them. So inshallah, this is not the issue with Islam. Now, when we say Islam says this, we also should understand that Islam is a complete way of life, which is implemented through an Islamic state. Islam cannot be implemented just by individuals or just by saying things. So Islam has to be implemented through an Islamic state. Now, such a state would have the human perspective for the people. People in this state will not be content if they are doing well. They would want the best for the entire humanity. They will never say, we are living in peace here, we are happy here, why do we have to do anything for someone else? No, this is not the idea that will be in the minds of the people in the Islamic State, because people in Islamic State itself is built upon Islam, and people hence will not carry these ideas. Such a state would not discriminate people based on their race, color, lineage, religion, or geography. As we see all in the idea of a modern nation state, people are discriminated based on their race, color, lineage, religion, and geography. Whereas in the Islamic State, this is not the case. An Islamic State would transcend race and geography. It is not a national state, it is a transnational state which would put the interest of the whole humanity first. Such a state would maintain high morals when engaging with the world. Its criteria is not benefit. When engaging with the world, it will not engage with the world as to what is my benefit. For example, we see today, when we look at America or when we look at other nations like UK, France, or any other, even Australia, when we look at these countries, when they are engaging with other country, they first look what is their benefit in it, right? For example, they always say, we are concerned about the people. Nowadays, we are hearing about Libya. They say we are concerned about the people in Libya. Well, if you're really concerned about the people in Libya, if you're really concerned about the humanity, you should have been concerned about the people in Africa too. They are suffering. They are suffering every possible way. And not just today, they have been suffering for years, but they haven't turned their minds towards the people suffering in Africa. Why is it they want to turn towards only Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan? Because these places have certain resources. These places carry geographical importance, right? So whether they say or not, their um, their their interest is always there. Whether they accept it, whether they say it or not, their interest is always there. Now, history is a testimony to such an state. I mean, an Islamic state, when it existed, was a ray of light and a beacon of hope for mankind. People from all religions contributed to such a state in whatever capacity they could and defend it whenever required. And the best example we have seen is at the time of Crusaders, when the Crusaders attacked Jerusalem. The Christians and Jews who were living with Muslims in there, they stood with the Muslims. This was the biggest backlash for the Crusaders. They were surprised that when they came, their own Christian brothers did not support them. This is not just coincidental. This is not an accident. Subhanallah, this happens when the people have so much trust, so much love for the place where they lived. Now we as Muslims have this as an alternative, and we must offer this as an alternative that is good for the entire humanity. This is not for our personal benefit. This is good for entire humanity. And see, and by having all these things, the world knows, even subhanallah, even the kuffar know that we have this as an alternative. Now, after knowing all this, ask yourself a question: is it any wonder that everywhere in the world it's only Muslims who are asked to prove their loyalties? It is only the Muslims who are asked the questions whether you are a Muslim first or an Australian first, whether you are a Muslim first or a British first. Because subhanallah, I mean, I want to emphasize on this point again that it is only the Muslims. I mean, even the kuffar have understood that these people have an alternate way of life. And they understand that our loyalty is really, I mean, by heart, every single Muslim's loyalty lies with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and lies with Islam. It's really not just natural for us to give our loyalty to anyone else other than Islam or to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is only because we possess this sublime alternative that we are asked to prove our loyalties time and time again in every part of the world. Now, this is a superior alternative. Now, I want to end my talk saying that Islam is the alternative, and Islam is the only alternative which gives the way to organize the humanity, not by creating artificial borders, by dividing people, dividing resources. It gives a way to organize humanity by spreading Islam, opening lands, uniting lands, and sharing of the resources, which is the most important thing. Remember, sharing of resources is something that Islam gives to us. أقول قولي هذا واستغفرون وآخر الدعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. Brothers, I guess if there are any questions, inshallah, I don't know how you have, but inshallah I will try to answer any questions you have during my talk. وآخر الدعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Jazakallah Brother Mas'ud. Demikianlah tadi rekan-rekan PRIMA penyampaian materi oleh Brother Mas'ud dari Australia berkaitan dengan topik sosial dan beberapa berkaitan masalah dan bagaimana solusi dari Islam memandang permasalahan ini. Sebelum kita nanti masuk ke pertanyaan, maaf diskusi, kita akan break dulu sekitar 5 menit mungkin. Sambil break kami persilakan teman-teman untuk mempersiapkan pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang mungkin bisa disampaikan pada saat selanjutnya. Brother, halo, assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum brother.
Okay. This time we will break for around 5 minutes and then we'll continue after this break. And then we'll contact you after that, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay, 5 minutes, brother, okay.
Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sambil menunggu pertanyaan dari teman sekalian, kita dengarkan dulu beberapa selingan dari kami operator.